So this is a book talk on Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan. So I'm just going to go over some things about this book, the basics about this book. I do have the ebook pulled open over here, as you can see. I'm showing the beautiful cover of it. First of all, that's something that I did want to point out, is Esperanza here is, I think the picture in the beginning of it is just really beautiful. It shows a lot of aspects about Esperanza having hope and lightness, and as you can see, she looks happy in this picture. So that's something that I wanted to point out first of all. So I'm going to go over some details about just the summary of the book and certain aspects I did want to mention here. So again, this book is Esperanza Rising. It's about a young child named Esperanza Ortega who grows up in Mexico. She's the daughter of Sixto Ortega, who is a wealthy landlord. She lives on her family's ranch with her mother, father, and grandmother. Ends up happening in this book is, so Esperanza pokes her finger on a rose, so the thorn, the day before her 13th birthday, actually, which is a sign of bad luck. What ends up happening is her father is actually killed by bandits later that night. So Esperanza's uncle Tio then basically states that he owns the land, that he believes that the land should not be left in the hands of a woman. So Tio actually offers to care for them and manage the property if Esperanza's mom chooses to actually marry him. So Esperanza's mom actually ends up saying no, and then what Tio does is he burns down their ranch. So Esperanza and her mother stay in the home of servants that they've had, as well as family friends. These family friends are named Alfonso, Hortensia, as well as their son Miguel. So Uncle Tio later in the book then offers to marry Esperanza's mother again. She does say yes, but they end up having a hidden plan actually to escape to America. So Esperanza's grandmother is another important character in this book. So due to injuries that she's had, she couldn't join them then, but says that she would join them when she's better. So what ends up happening is Esperanza and her family move to the United States. However, Esperanza has a hard time adjusting to the book. To just the culture and negative aspects of the hardships of immigrants traveling towards the U.S. She makes some, negative remarks, which her mother does not like. She ends up learning that it's just a really difficult time. It's during the time of the Great Depression. Times are rough. There's not a lot of jobs that Esperanza can actually be involved in as a child. She ends up taking care of some children, actually the child of one of the family friends. So later on in the book, Esperanza ends up, her mother gets sick, so she ends up working on this farming camp and tries to get enough money to support her family. And so this book, essentially the basis of it is, it's a beautiful story about the aspects of immigration. It does end up having a happy ending where Esperanza turns 14. She's reunited with her family, her mother and her grandmother. And the book shows that she's able to get through difficult times in her life. So, even in the very beginning of the book, it talks about Esperanza's upbringing here, and shows how she is someone who is a hard worker. She's a young child and she goes through some tough times in the book, but she's able to maintain a positive attitude. She has a close relationship with her family, especially her mother and grandmother. And it's just a really lovely story and beautiful story about immigration and how people can go through hard times but strive through it. So it's definitely a recommended book I have that I recommend children to definitely go through and read because it's a really beautiful book. Thank you guys.